Convicted serial killer Robert Pickton will not get his wish for a new trial. He was convicted in 2007 of killing 6 women, but appealed his second-degree murder sentence. The appeal made its way to the country's highest court. Today, a decision. The Supreme Court of Canada handed down a ruling that means Pickton will spend the rest of his life behind bars. And though the court ended the legal arguments, it is not an end to the many questions surrounding the investigation into the Pickton murders. A News reporter Stephen Andrew joins us now with more on the story. Stephen?
Andrew, Pickton's lawyers had argued before the Supreme Court that the judge erred in answering a question from the jury and violated Pickton's right to a fair trial. Today, the Supreme Court of Canada disagreed. The Supreme Court of Canada has sealed serial killer Robert Pickton's fate. The 60-year-old will remain in jail, likely for the rest of his life. This morning, the justices handed down a unanimous ruling. Willie Pickton will not get a new trial.
The Supreme Court of Canada's majority felt that the trial overall had been fair.
During the 11-month-long trial, the Crown had argued the Port Coquitlam pig farmer had acted alone in the murders of 6 women, luring them to his property, killing them, and butchering them. But during deliberations, the jury came back and asked the judge a question. Could they still convict Pickton if they thought he had not acted alone? The judge said, yes, they could if Pickton killed the women himself or was an active participant. The defense argued that was unfair. The 9 justices of the Supreme Court disagreed.
In the words of Justice Abella during the hearing, the evidence in this case was just staggering. It was overwhelming, and it led to only one conclusion, that Robert Pickton was guilty of murder.
The senior Crown prosecutor from Pickton's 2007 trial is pleased with the decision, but it's not a sweet victory.
My relief is coupled with grief. Grief at the fact that these killings occurred at all.
And from Vancouver's deputy chief, words the families and friends of the murdered women have waited years to hear.
This case will always haunt me. So I wish to say to the families that we're sorry for the bottoms of our hearts that we didn't catch him sooner.
Pickton faces an additional 20 murder charges, but prosecutors say with today's decision, they will not proceed with those charges. Today's ruling also paves the way for a public hearing on the Pickton killings and subsequent investigation. BC's Attorney General says ultimately Cabinet will have to make that decision.
The Vancouver Police Department and the RCMP have completed reports. We will want to review those reports and make a decision. I'm not obviously ruling an inquiry out, but I'm not in a position to tell you that one is being called today.
And BC's Attorney General says that decision will be made soon. The Attorney General told reporters today, Andrew, that up until now, all of the efforts of the Crown have been aimed at completing a successful prosecution of Robert Willie Pickton. Now, the families and victims of, and some investigators feel that there should be an inquiry. Families have long complained, Andrew, that police took way too long to investigate because many of the women from downtown Vancouver's east side were drug addicts or sex trade workers.
All right. Thank you, Stephen.